So access your rack, remote rack, this from here you can do the exit. So see, once you have done the initial configuration, now you want to do all the management with the help of UCS manager. For this you need to know what is the cluster IP. So this is the cluster IP we are using. Once you have accessed the page with the help of cluster IP, then click on launch UCS manager. So once you click launch, it will ask you the username and password. So yesterday we have configured the default username is admin and password we have set Cisco123, which is not using the strong special password approach. Once you log in, you will see this welcome page. Can say cancel. So now once you open this page, on the left side you can see this is the navigation pane. So starting with the version 3 or the 4.1, earlier before version 3.0 there is only 5 tabs. So like there is equipment tab, there is a server tab, LAN tab, SAN tab, VM tab and admin tab. These are the old legacy tab, but starting with the version 4.1 there is a new navigation tab is added. One is storage and the second one is chassis. So most of the time you will work in the server, tab. So first of all, if you click on equipment tab, you can see this is you are in the equipment tab. Equipment meaning what is the hardware you have. Okay. Total GUI approach. So in the equipment tab you can see I have the main topology view. So this is we are using here the UCS mini. In the UCS mini the view is like this. So the fabric interconnect is built-in available in the UCS mini. Okay. Now if you click on fabric interconnect, so I have FIA and FIB. In FIA I have the Ethernet port, so 4 port. Right now none of the port is unconfigured. Then I have the FC port, fiber channel port. So no one is the fiber channel port, all is by default, all the port is in Ethernet port. Same approach for the fabric interconnect B, fixed module, and I have the 4 Ethernet port. Then if you click on server, so I have these 2 server, all is in operational state, but right now the server is in power off state and association is not associated. So right now the hardware is your stateless. If you click on this thermal, this will give you the more informations like chassis, fabric interconnect and their models. So if you expand this model, expand it, so you can see this is my UCS chassis 5108. Then I have the UCS fabric module which is using the 3rd generation models 6324, and I can also see the vendor. Now once you know this, all these things, if I click or expand my chassis, this is my chassis, expand chassis view, I have only one chassis. If you click this and then click on general tab, So you can see right now the overall status is power. If you click on status details, you can see configuration state is okay, everything is fine. But if I click on here in the hybrid display, this will give you the connectivity that how these are the hardware traces, how your backplane port is connected with server. So right now you can see both interface is in a shutdown state, because right now the hardware is in stateless in nature. So until and unless you're not going to be assigned service profile, this port will be in shutdown state. And this is, we can see the port is in shutdown state or not. If I click here FI modules, backplane port, if I click here, you can see right now the overall status is link down, link failure or not connected. Same case for the second one. You can see in the general sections link down. And if I go to this server, so I have two servers, server 1. So right now I can see overall status is unassociated. And when you click this on status detail, there is available state is available. Available meaning this is available for association. And once profile is associated, you will see the message this is unavailable. So once you confirm, right now there is no service profile is associated. So what you do, the step number 1, configure your uplink. These are the uplinks, port 1 and port 2 on each fabric interconnect. So by default port is not configured. So in order to configure this, because these are connected with fabric interconnect, so simply what you do, close this, go to the fabric interconnect and then click on FI primary. You can click on port 1. Right now you can see the overall status is admin down for the port 1 and admin state is in a disabled state. So once you click on reconfigure, you can see these are the options. So this link is going to the 7K switch, which is my Ethernet. So I'm configuring as uplink port. Now in the mini models, there is no need to be configured server port, because these are the hardware traces. So configure as uplink port and say yes. You can see the overall status is up. So that means the uplink is up. Similarly, if I click on port number 2, reconfigure this, configure as a uplink, and I will say yes. Overall status is up and running. Same thing I will do for the other side, for the fabric interconnect B side. Port number 1, reconfigure this as a uplink port and simply say yes. Port number 2 also, reconfigure uplink port, yes. So right now you can see port 1 and port 2, it says overall status is linked down. That means problem is on upside. Could be the problem is on upside, means on 7K switches. But if I look for the A side, port 1 is up and running, port 2 is also up and running. That means both uplink is in up state. Okay, so then in order to bring this uplink or the B side also, what I need to be check? I need to be check my 7K switches, which is my 7K1 and 7K3, and the port is going to down port number 4 and port number 28. I will check the status of port number 4 and 28 on 7K switches, and for this purpose I will go to access this. I can take the SSH. So this is my 7K one, and I want to see the status of, can you see this, or should I change the settings? Appearance, let me do this bold, 12, slightly looks better. Show interface status, and look for the port number 4 here. This is I can see that port number 4 is in disable state and it is routed. This versus, so disable meaning it is a shutdown state. To get the more confirmation how it is disabled, the second command I have show interface brief, and look for the port number 4/4. This will give the information that it is in a down state, reason being the administratively down. So first of all, this is routed, so I need to be configured with the switch port. I need to be bring or make it layer 2, so 4.4. In order to bring the layer 2, I will say switch port. In order to bring this in up state, I will say no shutdown, and this should be my trunk port. I will say switch port mode trunk. That's fine. The moment I do this, I can see the status of FI1 or FI2. Yeah, FI2 is right now is going in the up state. See the moment, but still the port 1 is in down, so this is going to my 7K 3. And access also 7K 3 here, which is, you simply need to be take the putty session. So 7K 3 admin, slightly you can increase the appearance so that you can see this, make it bold. Okay, and now look for the status show interface brief, and look for the status of 27 and 28 connected with module number 4. So 27 is up and running, but 28 is in the admin down state. Same approach, go to global mode, interface E4/28, say no shut, say switch port, and say switch port mode trunk. That's it. Show interface status. Both is connected, both is trunk. Go back to your UCS manager and see the status. There we go. So both is up and running. So uplink is configured, server port is predefined configured in the UCS mini. Now we are good to go to create the requirement of the service profile. So first of all, I will configure pools. So there is a different types of pool: MAC pool, IP pool. So MAC pool and IP pool I can configure in my LAN tab. So configure, go to the LAN tab, and first I need here MAC pool. MAC pool And before to go for Mac pool, I can also configure the VLAN. Okay, VLAN 10 is there, that's fine. What you can do, you can, if it is already created, you can also delete it. Okay, and then create once again, simply add, give the name of the VLAN. So I want to create VLAN 10 because on the on the 7K switches VLAN 10 is there. I want to create on both. So if I choose both common, it will be automatically configured on fabric A and B. And what will be VLAN ID? It is VLAN 10. You can see the various options: none, primary, isolated, community. So primary, isolated, community, these are the concept of the private VLAN. So none is normal VLAN. Okay, so VLAN 10 is created. Then I will go to configure the pools. So first I need Mac pool, and the second I need IP pool in the LAN tab. So create a Mac pool, create Mac pool. I will say Mac pool of 5 Mac. I need a 5 Mac. Now there is two options: assignment order, default and sequential. Default meaning random, it will assign, but sequential meaning it will assign in a sequential order. So once I do this, click next and assign the MAC addresses. Now here you can see there is a predefined the Cisco Uuid. Do not change these 6 digits up to this point, but for the identification I will say this is my first pool. So I will set this is my first, and how many MAC addresses I need? I need 5. So it will create 0 to 4, 5 MAC addresses. Finish. Mac pool is created. Then I need IP pool for the management. So what I will do, I will click on the IP pool for the external management, and we'll say create the block of IP address. Now this range must be belongs to your management subnet range. So my management subnet is this one, and I'm using 200, and I need 2. The gateway for the management subnet is 192.168.10.254. That's it. There is no primary DNS, there is no secondary DNS. Click OK. So in the LAN tab I have the Mac pool and IP pool. Now in the SAN tab I will configure this worldwide node and worldwide port pool. So go to the SAN tab. This is my SAN tab. So here in the SAN I will go to my pool section. So first I need node pool. Click on the node pool, create node pool. Give the worldwide node pool of 5. I want sequential. Assign this, click add, and now from here once again do not change these up to the B5 number. This is a predefined format. Recommended is only change these the last 8, 16, 24 bits. So here I will say 1, and I need the node of 5. Okay, and finish. Similarly I need a port. So click on port node pool worldwide port pool. You can give the meaningful name. sequential, next, add, start with 1, and I need the number is 10, so 10 port, identifier, finish. Okay, so then I need server pool and UUID pool, that will be in my server tab. So go to the server tab. This is the server tab, and in the server tab first create UUID pool. This is required for licensing purpose, identification of the server, and under the pool sections you have this UUID suffix pool. Create this UUID pool, test. There is a two option. Prefix is derived, it is recommended, and assignment orders I can use sequentials. Do not use other, then you have to be set your own values. So use the derived, and then add this. So I will say here for the identification purpose 1, and I need, this is number of server is equal to number of UUID. So let's say I'm creating for 5 server, finish. Okay, so this is created. Next I need here server pool. So I can create manual and dynamic. Where the dynamic is required the conditions, that if I have the 4 CPU, assign this on the org ABC. But for the manuals you can forcefully say, okay, in this pool I want how many servers. So you can select 2 servers here, so both select. And a server pool, in one server, this server can be the member of more than one server pool. Next, and finish. Okay, so next I need, so we have done this pool requirement. Now I need to create a template. So first NIC template. NIC template I can configure in the LAN tab. So go back to the LAN tab. So all the NIC need MAC addresses. So here you can see here under the policy section you will see the template. Here we go, this one, vNIC. So right click, create vNIC, and I will give the name NIC0 as per our topology or as per our drawing. NIC0, this will be go for fabric A. Target is adapter, and this is where it is asking the template type, initial and updating. Initial meaning later on you cannot make changes, but updating is recommended. And then this NIC is the member of which VLAN. So I will say this is the member of VLAN 10. Then because NIC need MAC pool, earlier we have configured MAC pool, so I'm going to assign this MAC pool. So 5 is available, assign MAC pool, that's it. Say okay. Similarly I need NIC1 for the high availability, and this will go to fabric B. Adapter, this is updating template, and this is the member for the Vlan 10. So Vlan 10 must be available on the both uplinks. Assign a Mac pool, and that's it. Okay, so then I need to be configure my the HDA template, which is I will go to the SAN tab. So under the policy sections you will see VHVA template. Right click. So FC0 for A side, this will be initial template, and select the worldwide port pool. This is we have configured, and then click this is the member of default vSAN, that's fine. I need one more for the high availability, and this will be for the FC fabric interconnect B side. Assign the port here, and that's it. Okay, so I want to make sure that I have the Vlan 10 is available in both 7Ks. So just you can go to the 7K, show Vlan, otherwise it will give the failure message when you going to be assigned, or failure is not going to be create any problems, but it will give you the message you cannot forward traffic until and unless there is no Vlan is configured on the upstream switches. So on the 7K one I have the Vlan 10, and it is a trunk port. Same case I will check in 7K3. What is the command? Show Vlan, and here I have only the default, that means I need Vlan 10. That's it. Show Vlan. So I have the Vlan 10. This is also the member of trunk port. So now we are good to go to assign or to create service profile. So go to server, and here when you click on a server, on the top of the server hierarchy the second option is service profile, and here I can create, this is my simple, which is not recommended, and these two are the recommended. First one I will use this expert, and then the later on will use or take the advantage of this from the template. So look for first method, which is the first recommended method, create a service profile from the expert. I'm clicking this. This is asking the name, so I will say server 1 profile, because I'm creating for one server. One profile will go to one server only. Then it is asking what is the Uuid. So we have created this Uuid pool. Click next. Storage networking not required, no policy is here. Networking tab, yes. In the networking tab you can see the options. How would you assign to configure the LAN connectivity? Here I will use the option is expert, and in the expert tab click add option. Here you give the name NIC0, MAC address assignment. This is we have configured the pool, and I want to use the vNIC templates. So check this, because that will give you the more scalability. The name is NIC0, use vNIC template, and then once you click this drop down menu You can see these are the template I have configured. NIC 0 adapter policy I need. This is for VMware. Later on you can install the SXI hypervisor. Okay, same thing, add the connectivity for NIC 1 MAC address assignment from the pool. This will be for Fabric B, or I will use the VNIC template. This is NIC 1 adapter policy for VMware. Click OK. Similarly, click Next. Now give the SAN connectivity requirements. Click on Export, Node, Pool, and now there is the option to add this. Click Add. So this is FC0 port assignment. This is my port pool, and here I am also using the BHVA template. FC0 adapter policy for VMware operating system. Click OK. Similarly, I want VHVA for FC1 port. Use the VHVA. This is FC1 adapter policy for VMware. Click OK. Then click Next. No zoning requirement because default mode is the NPV. Next will be placements. So this is the order in which the operating system will see this. vMedia policy, if you're not using it, will create default. Server boot order, so far because there is no policy is there, so I will using the default policy. You can configure later on policy also. Next, in the maintenance policy, that's fine, it will use default. Click Next. I will assign the server later on. Click Next. And here I need to be assigned the management IP address. Because I have configured this pool, and okay, that's fine. Click Finish. It says it's creating the profile, but right now it is not associated. So now it's time to do the association. For the associations, what you will do, you just go to the equipment tab. There is many way to do this same job. Go to the equipment tab, and right now,
Ron, can I make a quick call?
yeah, sure. Let me pause this.
Is there a local
This here. Here we go. So now you can see here, if I go to the server tab once again, just for the confirmation, that I have created one service profile with the name server1 profile, and you can see the overall status so far is unassociated, and associate state is also unassociated.
It's not working.
Sorry, I forgot to plug in, but recording is on.
Yeah.
Okay, so then in order to assign this, go to this service profile, all, this is my the name, service profile 1, because right now it is not associated. So go to the equipment tab, and in the equipment tab you click on server. I have two server. Right now there is 0 NIC, 0 HPA, because you are not assigned any personality, you are not giving any identity to these. Here if I click on under the server need, I have server number 1. This is server number 1, and you can see the overall status is unassociated, but it is available for association. So what I can do now, once I click the server, there is an option to associate service profile. Just click this. It will ask you that okay, you have available is 1. So one service profile go to one server. So I have 1 is available, so I will selecting. Right now it is the member of the org root. So by default there is one hierarchy. Top of the hierarchy of the org is the root, and this is by default predefined is available, and you cannot delete this. But to break your resources in a more meaningful manners, you can create multiple org. Default is org root. So now I will click simply, once I select it, I will say okay. It will say your changes is going to be assigned to this chassis number 1, blade 1, and you're going to be assigned this, the name of the profile will be server 1. Will cause immediate reboot, so make sure that you now taking the maintenance time. I will say yes. The system is modifying service profile 1 association. You can monitor this, the progress in the finite state machine. So if you click here, there is option finite state machine. This will show you what is the progress is going on. Progress status. The association is downloaded. Configuring all these things. These are the steps. So it will complete all these steps, and the message will come. If everything is fine, the message will be the success here. It says adapter is not reachable after ping field reporting connectivity have because there is right now there is no IPs assigned. Endpoint is unavailable. In progress. So in the meantime, if you look for the chassis, in the chassis 1, right now I can see one of the link is in upstate, because I have assigned now the identity. I have gave the NIC and NIC card. So this is the NIC identity. You can see right now this is in upstate, but for the server, second server, because for the second server there is no service profile is attached. You can see right now this is in shutdown state. So hardware is stateless in nature, and then unless you're not going to be assigned the service profile. So these two port is engaged, and these are the uplink port. These are the uplink ports. These are fabric interconnect uplink port 1 and port 2. So this is type network E1, E2. Okay, that's fine. So click now, go back to your server 1, and see the status. It is 44%. If I click server here, you can see right now this is in the association state. If you click general option here, this will show you the status is in config mode, and status details. It says right now the discovery state is complete, and the available state is unavailable because the service profile is associated. Power is on, Everything seems good. This is the blade server model is generation 5, so B200 M5 generation. All these things you can see. You can see here what is the identity Uuid pool, and this is the service profile is going to be associated. And once it is, it will give you the success message. Right now the association state is establishing. So general inventory, this is the inventory for this. You can see the adapter, you can see the NIC here also. So NIC 1 and NIC 2, you can see these are the name, NIC 0, NIC 1, and these are the MAC addresses I have assigned. They are getting the identity. Similarly for the HVA, I have HVA1 and HVA2. These are the name I have given, FC0, FC1. So this name will be presented to the operating systems. If I click on NIC, this name will be presented to the operating systems. So that name should be meaningful so that the operating system will see that, or the later on the administrator can recognize, okay, how many NICs you have, this is NIC or what. All the inventory you can see, SIMC, motherboard. Go back to the general tab, config state. There is configuration is going on. So how many tabs you have? The equipment tab, server tab, LAN tab, there is a SAN tab, VM tab for the for the virtual, for the VMware and for the other hypervisor environment. Storage tab is newly added, but so far it is not much as giving the maximum features. You can see in the UCS profile is specific. In this release only the local LAN are supported, so in the future release you will see the remote LANs. So it is recently added that feature, storage feature, starting with the version 4.0, but so far it is not mature. So wait for the new upgrade versions where you can take the maximum advantage of this storage profile. This chassis is also added recently. This is the complete management of chassis alone, and the admin tab is useful for that later on when you're going to be manage or the control resources. You will take the backup and restore. All these things you will do in the admin tab. So user creations, backup, restore, all these things that will be available in the admin tab. So these are the navigation. Once you click on the navigation pan, this is the working pan. Status detail, server 1. As you can see, this is movement. Here I can also see this is chassis 1, server 1. Server 2 is right now is not online. This is in a power off state, because if I click here, server number 2, and click on general, this will say the overall status is unassociated. So there is no service profile is created for this, not associated. So once I can create this, configure or assign, you will do for the service profile creation for this server 2. Recording is on, you can see the recording. What are the steps need to be done. You can see the overall status is okay. So association state is associated. This is the message you want to see. So everything is fine. Then if you click on the server, because I have gave the IP address, I can now access the server by using this KVM console. You just click here KVM console. This will take you to the KVM page. But before, to make sure you have IP address is assigned or not. Let me see. You can go to the LAN tab to check for the IP is assigned or not for the one server. Then go for your IP pools. Click here. General. IP addresses. Okay, so you can see this one.
You see now?
Yeah, okay. 201 is assigned. This is assigned to server
Hello?
1.
Hello?
That's nice.
Hello? 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 Where? Ah. Where? Stop. مع من؟ مع بابا؟ والله أنت تبغى
2 minutes now. So first I can exit from this UCS manager, and in the welcome page you will see the launch KVM manager, first option, if you want to access the server once profile is attached. Click on KVM console. It is trying to access. It will show you the page. Now it is asking the IP address, which is the same as the UCS manager, admin Cisco 123. Just log in. Again, please wait. I can see there is one service profile is you can see the name of the service profile. It says associated. Now click simply launch. Once you launch, it will say click continue. Say okay. It's loading, and now you're going to the server monitoring screen. Your server is provisioned, and now it's time to install any operating system or anything else, whatever the things you can do now. Here, properties, KVM console, that's it. Okay, so exit from here. Yes, launch back to the UCS manager. Admin, login. Says not admin because Cisco 3. So far we have done with the first method, which is the first recommended method, service profile from the expert menu. Okay, so that's it, cancels. Now what we will do, we will do the same process what I did. So do the practice for this. I'm going to be stop
So do
this.
it on my own, huh?
Yeah, stop.
Oh, stop.